The Dominica government refutes allegations it was not prepared for Ross University's reopening. And in sport, Jamaica Talawals loses a marquee player in their CPL squad. I'm Nicole Best, and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, August 8th. I'll be back with the details after the break. A senior diplomat in Dominica says Ross University School of Medicine could have resumed operations in the island in January next year. The claim by Dominica's ambassador to the United States and the Organization of American States, Vince Henderson, comes on the heels of Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley saying her country only accepted Ross when the university indicated that returning to the Eastern Caribbean island for the start of the January 2019 semester was not an option. Speaking on radio program last night, Henderson said Dominica had informed the U.S.-owned university that it could have resumed operations even before next January. Ross had been forced to relocate its operations to St. Kitts and the state of Tennessee in the United States following the passage of Hurricane Maria last September. But reading from a three-page letter Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit had sent to the university in July, Henderson said plans were advanced for the resumption of classes in Portsmouth. St. Vincent and the Grenadines' main opposition party says it will campaign against any effort at this point in time to replace the Privy Council with the Caribbean Court of Justice as the island's highest court. Opposition leader and New Democratic Party President Dr. Godwin Friday said the issues that were raised when the population rejected the move in a referendum in 2009 are still relevant, and those include lack of confidence in the judicial system, a matter which Friday says has not yet been addressed. The opposition leader dismissed suggestions that corruption within the judiciary may be at the heart of the party's decision not to back the CCJ at this time. Last month, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said he was prepared to go to Parliament to change the constitution to allow for the island to join the CCJ, but said he would need the support of the opposition NDP. A two-thirds majority in Parliament is needed to support the change in the constitution, but Gonsalves' Unity Labour Party only has a one-seat majority. The government of Antigua and Barbuda is said to have officially received extradition papers for Indian billionaire Mehul Choksi. Reports in the New India Times and the NDTV online newspaper says the extradition papers were hand-delivered to foreign ministry officials in Antigua last Saturday by Indian officials who made a visit to the island specifically for that purpose. Choksi, who obtained Antigua and Barbuda citizenship under the Twin Island Nations Citizenship by Investment Program, is wanted in India for questioning as one of the alleged masterminds behind the $2 billion scam at the state-run Punjab National Bank. He left India for Antigua on January 4th this year and took the oath of allegiance on January 15th. When the matter first became public a few weeks ago, Choksi denied any involvement in fraudulent activities in his country. His lawyer had said his client was innocent and that the charges against him were politically motivated. Indian authorities say Choksi's extradition would be a major breakthrough in their quest to have economic fugitives captured and returned to face the consequences. Meanwhile, the Indian government has stated that they have started deliberations on Change in Passport Act to bar willful loan defaulters from leaving the country. They say this is an attempt to clean up the banking system. And former Barbados Central Bank Governor Dr. Delisle Worrell is advocating that government lease the island's ports of entry as a means of stimulating economic growth and job creation. Worrell, who has been critical of the previous administration's handling of the economy, says the government of Prime Minister Mia Mottley would need to make major investments to realize the economic potential of the ports, and it can't afford that at this time. In his monthly podcast on the Barbados economy, Worrell said leasing to major international companies would address all the challenges in realizing the economic potential of the island's seaport and airport.
The operator would bring business through its global network, far beyond anything that the Barbados government could attract on its own. The operator would have access to its own sources of financing, something which is important to a government which has lost access to international financial markets.
Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Join leading media and communications executives as well as climate change experts in Kingston, Jamaica from August 13 to 15 for the Caribbean Broadcasting Union 49th Annual General Assembly. This year's assembly, held in partnership with the CARICOM Climate Change Center, explores the theme, Building Resilience to Climate Change, Business, Technology and Content Options for Caribbean Media. Featured presenters include the Honorable Dr. Rural Reid, Jamaica's Minister responsible for information, the region's Chief Climate Change Negotiator, Mr. Carlos Fuller, the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, and the International Telecommunications Union Caribbean Office. And broadcast manufacturers and media services enjoy special exhibition rates at this year's conference, joining premier exhibitor Eutelsat. For more information on discounted rates for delegates staying at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel or flying on the official airline Caribbean Airlines, go to the CBU website or call the Secretariat. The CBU looks forward to welcoming you to this key conference on climate change and the Caribbean media.
Former Pakistan captain Shahid Afridi will not turn out for the Jamaica Tallawahs in this year's Caribbean Premier League. The 38-year-old all-rounder was signed as the Tallawahs' marquee player, but rehabilitation from a knee injury he sustained during the Pakistan Super League in March is still ongoing. Tallawahs head coach Mark O'Donnell isn't saying yet who his replacement will be.
It has been sorted out yet, but until he gets on a plane, there is no comment about whom it is. So he's meeting us in Trinidad, but there'll be an announcement coming through from the franchise later. So that, they are little difficult things, but it's just how well you overcome obstacles, how well you start. I think that is T20 cricket to a T. So our preparation's been very good, and it's a case of making sure that we start reasonably well in those first few games and you get a bit of momentum.
The CPL bowls off at the Queen's Park Oval in Trinidad later today, and Tallawahs will play their first game on Friday against defending CPL champions Trinbago Knight Riders. The other four teams in the 2018 tournament are Barbados Tridents, Guyana Amazon Warriors, St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots and St. Lucia Stars. A total of 34 games will be played in the tournament, which will culminate on September 16. And a quick look here now. Jamaican sprint legend Usain Bolt will join Australian football club Central Coast Mariners for an indefinite training period, but the 8-time Olympic champion and 100-meter and 200-meter world record holder will not be guaranteed a professional contract at the club. Bolt, who retired from athletics in 2017, will link up with the A-League side for the first time on August 18th. Chief Executive Officer at the Central Coast Mariners, Sean, said Bolt would be welcomed with open arms, but the club remains grounded and focused on the job at hand. And that's the Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline.